All right, now we have a very special treat for you. 90 years strong, the chamber has been in this beautiful town. And we're going to have we have 9 members in one organization that we're going to honor tonight. And the first one is going to be presented by Jonathan Ray, Barton's Distillery.
Throughout the history of Barton's 1792 distillery, the company has remained a vital part of the local community. No one wishes to change the products created there, relied on tried and true methods of the past to continue producing quality products for the future. The beginning of the Barton 1792 distillery can be traced to the mid-1800s to John Graves Mattingly of Marion County. Grandson Ben Mattingly married Catherine Willett of the prominent Bardstown bourbon distilling family and began working with Tom Moore, who was also married to a Willett Dollar in 1874. 2 years later, they began operating at the Mattingly and Moore Distillery. In 1881, Mattingly sold to a group of investors, and Tom Moore continued to work for them until 1899, when he bought 116 acres adjacent to the current distillery and built his own. When the investors who purchased Mattingly and Moore went bankrupt, Tom Moore acquired that property as well. After Prohibition, Tom Moore's son Con reopened the distillery, later selling it to Oscar Getz, a Chicago liquor merchant, in 1944. Getz changed the name of the distillery to Barton Distillery. The Barton Distillery was the first distillery to reopen after Prohibition, as well as the first in Kentucky to offer public tours. Oscar Getz's personal collection of whiskey memorabilia was housed at Barton's, and the tours began and ended in that museum. Then, for a period of time, tours were discontinued, and after Getz's death in 1983, his collection was moved to Spalding Hall to the Oscar Getz Museum of Whiskey History. In May 2011, tours began again in the new Visitor Center, built on the site of Getz's original museum. The Barton Tour provides a look into all aspects of producing bourbon. Barton's produces several bourbons, and in 2002 introduced 1792 Richmont Reserve, a premium bourbon mashed, distilled, aged, and bottled all at Barton's Distillery. The work at Barton's continues today much as it was done in the past, proof that some things just don't need changing. Accepting on behalf of Barton's 1792 Distillery is Tim White.
All right, now Anthony Orr for Croom Drug Store.
As we all know, Bardstown is well known for its rich history. Croom Drug Store is proud to be a part of that rich history. The oldest pharmacy in Bardstown, Croom Drug Store was originally established in 1852 by David J. Wood. Known then as Wood Drug Store, Croom Drug Store has been owned and operated as an independent pharmacy serving the local community for over 150 years. In 1889, David S. Wood and James M. Wilson became owners, and in 1900, the store's name changed to the Wood and Croom Drug Store when J. Robert Croom joined the business. In 1905, J. Robert Croom became the sole owner and changed the pharmacy's name to J. Robert Croom Drug Store. In 1945, that name was shortened to simply Croom Drug Store. In 1974, the name changed again to Croom Reed Drug Store to reflect the addition of Maurice Reed to the list of owners. In 1976, J.F. Johnson joined Reed as an owner, and J.P. Bowling joined the partnership in 1979. The name was changed yet again to Croom Drug Store in 1982 when Johnson and Bowling were listed as the store owners. At this time, I'd like to pause and ask my friends, and I have their permission to say so, Tim and Robin Sizemore to come forward for their recognition. The name has remained unchanged. If y'all come on up, the name has remained unchanged since Robin and Tim bought Croom Drug Store in 2010. Croom Drug Store remains a part of our past, but an important part of Nelson County's future. Sorry.
All right, Robert Cecil for Spaldings and Son.
The sign on the outside of the business says Spaldings since 1856. What it doesn't say is that this Bardstown business has been operated by the same family in the same location for 157 years. This store has been in existence through the Civil War, the Great Depression, World Wars, and economic ups and downs. The Spalding family shares their secret for success of such a long-running business. It is challenging to accommodate changing styles and to respond to evolving competition. But outstanding customer service, quality goods, and loyalty prove to be the staying factors. Fourth-generation owner Hayden Spalding and his daughter, Sally Walsh, continue the commitment of customer service. Current employee Sue Reed has been part of Spalding's since 1958. Stroll down 3rd Street and enter the store walking over the familiar black and white tile entranceway. Generations have opened those same doors and trusted Spalding's to provide quality merchandise and trusted customer service. While shoppers at Spalding's won't find hardware or coveralls on the shelves like they once did, they will find clothing and accessories for men, women, and children, along with a variety of gifts and items for the home. Many towns no longer have home-owned stores to provide a personal touch. That's part of Spalding's past as well as its future, and that's not likely to change. Mr. Hayden Spalding couldn't be with us tonight, but I believe on his behalf, I believe Eddie's going to accept that award.
Yes, Mr. Spalding and Sally are out at the market buying their spring goods. All right, next we have Patty Longmire for Wilson and Muir Bank.
Hello. The enactment of the National Banking Act of 1863 and the end of the Civil War provided two merchants, Richard Shipp and Jeremiah Wilson, the opportunity to change not only their own futures, but those of friends and neighbors. They obtained a charter to open the first bank in Nelson County. In February of 1868, ownership interest in the bank was transferred to Bardstown attorney Jasper W. Muir and the businessman William Wilson. In 1890, the firm became the banking house of Wilson and Muir. Wilson and Muir Bank and Trust Company continues to be a leader for financial services. The third oldest bank in Kentucky, Wilson and Muir has survived several economic challenges throughout its history by remaining focused on time-tested banking principles dedicated to protecting their clients' wealth. Conservative business practices, a commitment to offer sound financial products and services, and exceptional customer service have been the bank's business philosophy throughout its history. Generations have depended on the guidance offered by the banking professionals at Wilson and Muir. Building strong relationships, providing excellent service, and remaining focused on the community are qualities that are just as important today as they have been since the establishment of Wilson and Muir Bank. No need to change that in the future. Receiving the award will be Tiger Houston.